Hey there, WolfLandmaster here, and welcome back to the Hancock review. Okay, so if it sounds like I'll be going all over the place in an incoherent manner, blame the movie. They decided to rush its last half hour.
We're gonna have fun with this thing.
Sisters don't kiss brother the way you did last night. You're lying. Deal's off. Let's go see how Ray feels about this.
After trying to get answers from Mary on who they are, but knowing she's bending the truth, Hancock flies on over to Ray's job to expose her. But oddly enough, that's not the thing she's the most angry about.
I hate to burst your little crazy lady bubble, but it must not have been all that great, because I don't remember you.
Call me crazy. One more time.
You get it? It's the running joke, but applied to her. Hold on, wait! You hear that guy in the background that's just going, whoa! Is it me, or does he keep on appearing out of nowhere in this film? Guess he was just really determined to get an Oscar for Best Off-Screen Extra to Shout "Whoa" performance.
Hey, are you guys gonna wrap this up pretty soon?
What?
Oh, nothing. I was just wondering if we're gonna chase this tornado or if you just want to catch the next one.
Shit!
No, I'm not gonna lie. This storm effect is really freaking awesome looking. However, I have some issues with it. A plethora of issues, actually. For one, this is likely where a large portion of the budget went towards. And the problem with that is, it's not tied into anything. No regular important characters get injured from it, so it's just kind of there. Second, this is the only time she ever does this, unless there's actually gonna be a Hancock 2. But also, it's not explored on how she's able to do it. In other words, potential backstory on how their kind works, ignored by some eye candy. And third, is Hancock able to do anything like this? If his anger reaches a certain boiling point, can he just cause some form of natural disaster too? But, as stated in the last part, almost anything involving these characters' history is either kept vague or just not explained at all. And to reiterate something else from the previous part, in making this video even longer, being vague can either help or hurt you, but it depends on the context and level of vagueness. As a matter of fact, I've decided to invite a couple people here to get their input on the situation as well, because as we all know, my opinion is not the only one. So, just so you guys know, we got two superheroes, kinda, that have never existed before, but they're still being extremely vague about who they are, as far as to not even give us a flashback. So, what do you guys say on this matter?
That is a very, very bad idea.
Yes, I like that. What do you got to say about it?
It's not going to work.
Exactly, you know? How could anyone make that work?
Oh, yes, of course. How very, very awful.
Yes, it is quite disappointing.
Wait. Let me do that one more time. Give me the line again. Quickly.
Well, it's fresh in my mind.
We have two superheroes that have never existed before, but they're being extremely vague here. Alrighty then.
It's great.
Okay, that does it. You are out of here. Your opinion is wrong. Again, while I like the look of this storm effect, it's also a very huge part of the budget that could have went towards making flashback sequences so we know how their kind works. And so we can see what other people or beings of their kind looked like.
We need extreme market penetration.
But in due time, Ray catches them both, and I'll meet up at the house to have a chat.
Why were you flying? You were flying, Mary.
Yeah, she was definitely flying.
Yeah, she was.
Flying. And I'm very strong as well. It's just us now. The others paired up and died.
Oh, you didn't say anything about the others pairing up at the trailer.
It's very hard to explain.
Great, I'm all ears, Mary.
Me too.
I've got to hear this one too.
Do me a favor, just give me and my wife one moment,
Hey,
please.
don't bring it here, Ray.
The adults are talking for 1 second.
Technically speaking, he's my husband.
Yep, this explains why Mary always had a concerned look when he was always nearby. But that doesn't exactly brighten everyone's,
Free Shavakadu!
Sure, I'll go with that.
What?
We broke up decades ago. Long before you were born. He just can't remember.
But you can, right? You knew? That's something you might want to bring up on a first date, Mary. I don't like to travel. I'm allergic to cats. I'm immortal. Okay? Those are like some of the things you might want to give a little heads up on.
Whatever we are, we were built in twos, okay? We're drawn to each other.
Oh, you want to run that by me one more time there?
Whatever we are, whatever we are, whatever we are.
Whatever we are.
So you don't even know what you are. Cool.
No matter how far I run, he's always there. He finds me. It's physics.
What are you saying? Are you saying that you two are fated to be together?
I've lived for a very long time, Ray. People get to choose.
And you chose to let me think I was here alone.
I didn't think you'd miss what you didn't remember.
Great. Now what?
I mean, nothing has to be different. Ray, Mary, you two can still be together. Hancock can still do his own thing. Mary, if you want, you can tell him that one thing that you're not going to say until the very last scene of the movie when it's most crucial.
Didn't plan for this.
Yeah, just in case y'all forgot, here's what the very beginning of the movie looked like. Everyone kind of separates, and Hancock ends up at a convenience store where very inconvenient things happen. Anyone else think that's kind of ironic? Going to a convenience store and something inconvenient has to happen? Whether in real life or in just movies in general? I mean, look at poor Ron over here. You think he was ready for that? Come on, Billy. Give this poor man a raise. Who else is gonna pay for his back surgery? Anyway, a typical robber tries holding the cashier at gunpoint, and of course Hancock handles the situation well.
Or does he?
For the first time in his eyes, he is bleeding. He gets rushed to the hospital where pretty much everything he said didn't work before at the doctors now do, such as being needled.
It's not gonna work.
Ugh, now's the time I gotta come up with a Pokemon joke, because it's been a little while. Cacturn! Use Needle Arm! Ah, fuck you! Anyways, continuing on.
This just in. John Hancock has been rushed to Los Angeles General Hospital. Hancock is in serious condition with multiple gunshot wounds. No story yet.
Wait, I thought he only got shot once. When did he get the other gunshots? Did one of the paramedics do it? Did someone on the street do it while he was on a stretcher, but the medics didn't notice or just shrugged it off? I don't know, but Ray and Aaron find out, head to the hospital, and Mary shows up before them, and she delivers that crucial information I mentioned a little bit ago at a very bad time.
It's us. Being close to each other.
This is the twist I think is actually pretty clever. Being close to Mary makes him lose his powers, making him more human. It's quite a unique idea for a superhero film since it's never been done before. The issue with it, as many of you probably already figured out, is there are so many plot holes.
It's never happened this fast before.
hasn't happened this fast. He's been with and around her for like half the movie's runtime, and there were no issues before. The day-to-day scale isn't completely obvious in this flick, but I've counted 5 separate days where these two have been together before this point, and were just fine. The day he saved Ray from the train, the day after when Ray showed Hancock the not-quite YouTube clips of him being careless. Seriously, when has YouTube ever watermarked all videos on the site? Mary and Aaron visiting him in the prison, the night they went out after Hancock's first legit act of heroism, and when him and Mary were at his trailer, including the tornado fight scene. Plus, it's said that if he goes very far away, like out of the city far away, he'll get his powers back. And the issue with that is, he's been in this city since the start of the movie. How far away does he really have to be to keep his powers? And I know this isn't exactly a plot hole as much as it is a jerk move, and I know I've already said it, but way to bring this info up to him now and not any time before. Sounds like I'm ranting on this too much, but what do you expect? This is supposed to be the jaw-dropping part. The twist. The thing that's supposed to make you go, wow, that's actually very interesting. I'll talk about this more at the end when we discuss the pros and cons, because now we finally get some important stuff explained to us.
We were built in pairs, and when we get close to our opposites, we lose our power. So we can live human lives. Love, connect, grow old, die.
Okay, that's dumb.
Summer of 4 BC. We were becoming mortal-like now. They came after me with swords.
Yes, because I'm sure everybody watching this movie was really drawn to the scar on his neck and asking, how'd he get that?
1850. They set our house on fire. You pulled me out of the flames.
Oh, right, the scar that was hiding under his sleeve the whole time. Glad we got that one settled.
We were living in Miami, and a new movie was playing in town.
Frankenstein.
Actually, the first Frankenstein came out in 1931, but you were close. As a matter of fact, movies weren't even a thing in the 1850s, but okay, glad we got that settled.
And they attacked us in an alley. They hit you so hard. There was so much blood.
Okay, for as lame as it sounds, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I at least like this explanation. Getting hit in the head so hard that he got knocked out and was bleeding. I can actually see that causing some form of amnesia. And now that we know when they're together they lose their powers, it makes sense. But that was a very short-lived credit where credit's due, because now is to get back on the criticism train. Do you see what I was talking about when I said this film could really benefit with some visual flashback sequences? This is essentially where I think the movie needed those. But now it's time to show what I feel is the absolute dumbest decision made in this flick. And it basically requires cutting clips out of order. Remember the guy that attempted armed robbery at that bank, got his hand cut off and then arrested? Yeah, and like 2 or 3 scenes flat afterwards, he broke out and wants to get his revenge. He also brings along the guy that got a head shoved up his butt, and the guy who is owner of said head that got shoved up said butt. So not only do we have vague superheroes, massive plot holes, and a rushed mini-sequel that feels tagged on at the last minute, but now we're cycling through villains/criminals we already saw and were already dealt with. While Mary was having this heartfelt verbal flashback, he was seen on the elevator with a shot of his newly acquired hook for a hand. They walk down the hallway, somehow managing to hide their firearms in their coats.
Good job, security.
And shoots Mary. So much for that loss of power thing. Nah, this technically has explanation too, but they kinda went ahead of themselves on it. Separation can also include them dying or bleeding out. And since that's what's happening with Mary, Hancock starts becoming his old self again. And not in like a steadily increasing manner, like this is from 0 to 90 power jumpstart manner. At least with his strength, the durability not so much. And on that day, Ray and Aaron were not saved by Hancock. They were saved by the power of Dasani. Okay, now there's something I want to bring up from the last part that you all probably either forgot yourselves or you thought I was gonna forget. When Hancock was in prison and Aaron and Mary were visiting, Aaron leaves Hancock a toy dinosaur that he says is his favorite. Some who watch this may look at that scene and be like, I wonder what relevance this will have later on. It doesn't. It's quickly forgotten about, but I remember distinctly watching this in the theater and keeping my mind on that dinosaur. That it was going to become symbolic or motivating in some way. Nope. I personally think it would be pretty nice just to give Aaron some purpose to the film if, say, Hancock always carried that with him. Aaron got nabbed by one of the criminals and seeing the dinosaur toy kicks his adrenaline even further. I know it'd kind of fall under that category of kid gets kidnapped cliche, but this would be more like a hostage attempt. Yes, we already had one of those, but we already brought the same bad guys back. Why not the same action done as well? And while Hancock fights them off, paramedics now start treating Mary simultaneously. It's kind of cool that they do, but isn't it also a little too dangerous? I mean, you got sparks flying everywhere, broken glass, gunshots, Dasani machines that can fall and crush you flat. So many hazards. Wow, they really crammed a lot of crap in this sequence. But now apparently Hancock and Mary have the Shadow Realm Life Force string Merrick used on Joey in the Battle City semifinals, because all of the pain Hancock is receiving, Mary feels. For the record, when Joey's monsters would get destroyed or drained of attack points, he'd get shadow electrocuted and physically drained himself. In this case, Hancock is the monster and Mary is Joey. Now I know someone may go, oh, Merrick had the same thing attached to him, but I counter that with he didn't feel any pain from it, so it doesn't count. The main criminal, whose name I really don't care about, so I'll just call him Crafton Hook, repeatedly shoots him and has to do one of those things where even though he's criminally insane, he has to talk like he's being deep, I guess.
Upon us all, Hancock. You're no different. Time to shut her down, Hancock. It's been a nice run.
I swear to Christ, your head is going up the driver's ass. His head is going up your ass. And you drew the short stick because your head is going up my ass.
Oh, we are all sincerely gonna miss you. But it is time for you to move on. And maybe to a happier place. You can thank me if you want to.
You didn't!
Thank you, Ray. Cut to a month later, and Hancock does a deed for Ray in return for turning him into a better hero.
Anything more?
Not like that. I was
Really?
in Cuba for the whole missile thing.
Yeah,
that's all.
hang on. Hello?
Ray.
Hey, I've been trying to call you.
Yeah, I was out of cell range. Are you outside?
Yeah.
Look up.
All right, I'm looking up. I'm looking up.
Don't know how that symbol on the moon's gonna help, but his whole changing the world plan added to nothing and was completely forgotten about. I mean, the closest thing to changing the world was helping Hancock not be destructive, but that's about it. And that was Hancock. What are the final...
Get back! Get back! Get back! I'll shoot! Get back! Get back! I'm not playing! Get back! Damn! Hand job! Where you come from? All right, relax. Just tell me what you need. Tell them cops to tell them to take the guns out for me. All right. Tell them to take the guns up off for me. Just take them off. Just take them off, guys. Lower your weapons. You gonna get us out of here with that tight-ass Wolverine outfit on. Now let's make it happen, asshole.
Wow, they really must have thought this joke was the funniest thing in the whole world. As I was saying, what are the final thoughts? The movie was going very well up until they kept going after that dinner scene. It really hurts, cause it had so much potential to be a great standalone superhero film, or even a very enjoyable spoof superhero film. But to at least get some positivity flowing back in, we'll go over what I thoroughly enjoyed about the film. Hancock and Ray are very fun characters, and Mary's also a very good character, but in different ways. Will Smith still had the charm in 2008 to turn in a solid performance even for a mediocre movie. I especially enjoy the chemistry between him and Ray. Hancock's I don't care personality mixed with Ray's snarkiness and almost talking to a child tone of voice was hilarious. And yeah, there was never really a time where Mary had me laugh out of something she said or did, even with her twist on the running joke. But she was, for lack of a better word, real. We already have two characters making us laugh, so I think it's best to have a third character be the most level-headed and realistic. Recall back to my Net Museum review in regards to the evil night guards. I mentioned that I didn't like two of them were level-headed and one was the comic relief. If you were able to follow and understand my perspective in that movie, this movie is the reverse. And I think that works a lot better, especially here. Mary is not hilarious, but I don't think she's supposed to be. She works with what she does. The twist for losing their powers when they are close together is a nice one, despite there being so many holes around it. I mean, name a superhero in the past that had a love interest that drains them of their powers when they're close together. I gotta admit, all the action scenes are very well done. They're action-packed, they're fun, they're fast-paced, and I was able to keep up with the fight scenes pretty well. There may be shaky cam here and there, but it's not overwhelming. And I know the hospital scene may be a little bit hard to see because it's kind of dark, but it's not shadowy dark, if that makes any sense. The lights are dim, but you can still see where everybody is and what's going on. Especially when you get down to the fact that the real hero of the night was Dasani. Even though I think the effects of the storm was a wasted opportunity for the budget to show us flashbacks that would have been more important, I still enjoy it. I think it's pretty well done. It's not really a pro by any means, but it's more of a side note. And as expected, the first hour is really where the movie is at its best. For the most part, it's hilarious. And if you've never seen the movie before, I guarantee you will laugh at something. And I do like Hancock's time spent in the prison, realizing who he is and showing that he's improved. Ending the movie with that dinner scene, or dare I even say, after Mary throws Hancock out the window and on the car, would have been a great way to end it. Either extend how long Hancock is destructive and funny, how much Ray tries to teach Hancock how to be better, or how long he stays at the prison, considering all of that was literally about an hour. If they ended it and cut the credits right after the dinner scene, it would have been a great way to end an original superhero movie. not making it an Oscar-winning film by any means, but making it a very entertaining popcorn flick. Ending it right after Mary reveals she has powers and saying, "If Ray finds out about me, you're dead." Would have been a great way to end it too, because it's a nice cliffhanger for a sequel. But, as we all know, they didn't. To say the last half hour is the worst is a no-brainer statement, but they cram so much and so little, but sounding like so much, that I think they fell into a beginner's scripting trap. I remember back in the good old teen years, I was typing scripts for other things, for short videos and such. The first time I did it, I was at 3 pages and thought the video would be maybe 7 minutes at least. Actually saying the lines and doing the actions, however, ended up making the video about 2 minutes. I was like, dang, these are intended to be short videos, but not this short. That's what I felt like happened in this film. From the start to the dinner scene was a completed story, with a character arc completed as well. Could even consider Ray helping Hancock being a possible second arc, since he wanted to change the world, and pretty much did with how he wasn't destructive anymore. Then it's like they edited the whole thing and noticed it was only an hour, so they had to cram so much in just a half hour. There needs to be this balance of show and tell. They really like telling us a lot, but they didn't seem to have the budget to show anything. And most of what they do tell just leads to more holes. So many, I don't even think the amount that were at Camp Green Lake adds up to the number of holes that were in this story. Telling us how Hancock got the scars we never saw until that point, cool, more power to you. But all this talk about people attacking them with swords, their house catching on fire, Hancock apparently getting mugged and knocked out, wouldn't you like to see all this happen so you can actually feel the harshness of what they were going through? Where they are from is never explained or shown. Mary mentions that there were others of their kind that lost their lives being together, but we never see any flashbacks of them. And you know what else? We never know what Hancock's real name is. Yeah, he only has this name because he was checking out of the hospital and they asked for his John Hancock. This basically means Mary didn't feel like letting him know what his real name is.
Fucking bitch. Fucking whore.
Then there's the stretch of Mary's powers. All we've seen her do is lift heavy things and cause tornadoes. Even though she is very close to Hancock, and I thought they lose their powers when they are close to each other, but whatever. Hey, I said the twist was clever, not flawless. There's a lot more you can pick from, but I think you get the idea from here. I'm already repetitive enough as it is. I'll also talk about the running joke. It's not going on the cons list, it didn't go in the pros, and I'm not even going to put it in the neutral pile, because it's just a running joke. Running jokes don't add or take away from anything important to the film. It was funny the first 3 times, but after that it got old. The first kid saying it was hilarious, cause no one was expecting it. In Michelle's scene, who by the way, I found out after watching Nostalgia Critic's review of the Halloween remake, he plays Kid Michael Myers. The more you know. The execution of him saying it repeatedly wasn't funny, but the aftermath was. And of course, when it happened in the prison, followed by this immediate cut.
Did you shove a man's head up another man's ass?
That is the epitome of comedic timing. But after that, it didn't make sense anymore. What nerve does Captain Hook of all people have calling Hancock an asshole when he's the one that has like 20 plus people with bombs strapped to their chests? By the time Mary takes her crack at the joke, you may hear someone in a large crowd snicker, but by this point, no one really cares about the joke anymore. And in this sort of mid-credit scene where they do it one more time, we have another criminal calling Hancock, who is not being destructive, an asshole. They should have stopped at the prison scene, but nope, they had to say it more and more. And speaking of Captain Hook, I'm putting him in the cons. Very simply put, we didn't need him reused. He's not a cool villain, and he doesn't have any time for development at all. Like, come on. When you're only in 3 scenes and not in them for more than 10 minutes, you're just a literal waste of time. But now it all comes down to what the original topic at hand was for this review in the first place. Today we are gonna focus on tone. Yep, tone. Pretty obvious to see the tone did not work at all. You know, I joked about it a couple times, but realistically, how can you make a whole movie work when you started up like this?
I swear to Christ, your head is going up the driver's ass, his head is going up your ass, and you drew the short stick because your head is going up my ass.
And somehow make it into this. On a personal level, I give Hancock a 7 out of 10. Because it still made me laugh a lot and had some pretty cool ideas that sometimes just weren't executed well. Even in the crammed half hour, there's still a bit there that is decent. Such as, but not limited to, the fighting scenes and maybe a couple more laughs. Realistically, it gets a 4 out of 10. There was a point where ending it would have made it really good, but they decided to push into unneeded territory and rush out a half-hour long mini-sequel filled with plot holes and so many questions that never get answered. Even though it's 1 hour of a good film followed by a half hour of a bad film, it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you end. Cause after all is said and done, what part of a film do you remember most when walking out of the theater? The beginning or the end?
I want you to break into the vault. You'll find 3/4-ton pallets of small bills inside. $30 million. And you're gonna carry it for me. You are gonna get me safely away from here with the money, or else they'll be cleaning up these hostages with a mop.
Really trying to turn over a new leaf.
I will blow up this entire building, you
Shavakadu!
Really don't like that word.
I will blow them sky high and their blood will be on your hands. Do you hear me?
Shavakadu!
Call me
Shavakadu!
one more time.
Shavakadu!